Yo, all right, let's go over some updated notes. Study time. Turn my music on. I should probably check and see if my AI voice is gonna come through in the audio. All right, but let's go over these notes first. Let's see if I do a full. All right, I've been consolidating my notes in this Google LLM and having it generate these slides for me for my notes. Because I learn better with diagrams and charts. So it's a lot of information consolidated. Let's take a look. All right. All right. So this is enterprise solutions. Let's go through these. All right, VPC troubleshooting accounts for a massive portion of downtown. Always verify root tables first, then security groups, then ensure network access control lists ephemeral ports are open. DNS resolution and overlapping IPs are your edge case. Nice. Yo, what up, Tori? up here trying to get my study in it. Yo, what's going on? I was going to pass this up. Yo, thanks, bro. I'm gonna be on here for about an hour. These are so I have the Udemy course that Theo uses to teach the AWS class, and I used that in the practice test to when I took the exam the first time, and I missed by like 40 points. I mean, I'd used some supplementary materials, um, but I bought the six practice exam package this time. So I've been consolidating my notes, and I use the Google's Notebook LLM to generate the study notes for me, like these slideshows and stuff like this. These are all consolidated from my notes, and it's just more organized. And I do better with this than list and stuff. With your handwritten notes, I can absorb the information better. So I'm going through a bunch of these slideshows that I put together in the last couple days. Okay, direct connect is required for dedicated high throughput hybrid environments, bypassing the public internet directly. I mean, entirely. Oh yeah, well, yeah. After you build something with Armageddon, yeah, the building itself gives you the full understanding because you gotta work through all of the mistakes and all of the configurations not working and what have you. I got to get certed ASAP, so I just decided to double down on the cert. I don't know if you already took one of the certs. The all the labs in the DevOps classes for Theo, they don't always necessarily translate to you passing the cert because it's a different skill set. And the cert is really just all about they want to know how well you know the services and in this case architecture and stuff. But then on the flip side, you end up doing good at the cert doesn't mean you can build shit. You know what I mean? So I had to break it into pieces, because of my time constraints. But I figure I take this again at the end of the month. I figure if I don't pass it this time, I'll pass it again the third time. I think I only need two more attempts at most to pass. I'll be uploading some of my infographics and notes on the Facebook group too, for people to use. I think if and when I do pass, I'm going to upload all of my notes to a Mega Drive file and just give everybody the link in the group. He said, you want to get my next cert at the end of the month also. Yeah, didn't you put in the chat you're gonna do one cert and plus the Terraform one too at the end of the month? All right, so we on the same timeline. Yeah, I'm on the timeline to get a job too. Not so much to pay, but to get into Theo's advanced classes and keep my skill sharp. Hell yeah. Yo, all right, we're on the same timeline. Like my plan is, I'm gonna retake the SAA on the 31st or April 1st. If I don't pass, I'm just going to schedule immediately for another 30 days out, and then um, yeah, while it's still fresh in my head, I'll cram and double and drill for another 30 days. Um, I don't want to be overconfident, but I mean, I've been putting my work in, and I really do feel like I understand this stuff. So I like figured two more attempts. Yo, what up? No news. Yeah, Tori. So you said yeah, you want to get into Theo's advanced classes. Me too. Well, like I said, after I get the cert, I'm just gonna double down on the classes because then I can just focus on building stuff. You know, Quiet Storm building mad stuff, man. He building stuff on his leisure. He sent me something he built on GCP yesterday, just on some, not yesterday, but day before yesterday, just on some downtime shit. It wasn't even assigned. So yeah, right after I pass the cert, I'm gonna be in speed chops and interviewing for jobs and just building stuff and getting my GitHub up. But yeah, I want to get in Theo's advanced classes too. He's got a lot. I want to get in the AI class, um, and he's doing the SIER stuff now for Azure, the identity access management stuff, because that's that's real. That'll be real big in the healthcare industry. Um, yeah, I want to, but follow up certs. I want to get my HashiCorp for Terraform, and then I want to double down on Kubernetes. So between like with the SAA, the HashiCorp, start working on the Kubernetes, and then maybe start studying for the SAA security cert. I mean, I think I'll be in really good shape. You think I'll get it this time? Well, I started streaming my study sessions because I watch a lot of those study ASMRs with people studying for like the med school exam and the law, the bar and stuff like that, or like the kids that are at MIT. So I was like, I might as well just stream my study sessions, and like it kind of holds me accountable. It'd be like this is turning into like my little study journal. In a minute, I'm going to see if my Perplexity AI's audio will play in the browser, so then I can just, if it does, then I can do a question follow up with the AI live, and that'd be perfect. Which Tori, which class are you in right now? You're in 7.5? Which rotation did you come in? Because I came in during the first GCP class. I think that was 6.5, and I'm in class 7 also. Vertical. Okay. RDS is a vertical scaling. DynamoDB is horizontal scaling. Redshift is horizontal cluster scaling, and S3 in Glacier. If okay. Targeted use case, traditional applications, single digit MS latency. Oh, millisecond latency. Real-time processing, that's for DynamoDB. Redshift is OLEP, where you have complex queries, data warehousing. All right, cool, I got that. Codifying architecture via infrastructure as cloud. Uh-oh, they even got the Terraform code. They even generated these little Terraform code blocks for me. Nice. Continuous deployment pipeline. Okay, got that. I got all these slides generated from my notes, and I use the notebook, Google's Notebook LM. So this is the AI, generative AI version of my notes, my actual notes I took myself. Cloud formation, Terraform. Okay, I got that. I got that. What's this? Okay, self-healing mechanism for high availability workloads. Okay, well, all right, we're in the same classes then. All right, all right. You're in 7.5. Okay, okay. So all right, and so you're in the second GCP class. All right, cool. All right, so you're in seven with me. Did you pass Armageddon? Elastic load balancer ships EC2 instance. Where's three? Goes to CloudWatch. Okay, hold on. Since SNS. Notification auto scaling launches a new instance. Here's the auto scaling group. Compute layer reads writes to primary synchronously replicated to standby. All right, I'll review that later. Okay, and least privilege and continuous compliance. Let's look at that. CloudTrail and Macy are API logging, IAM roles, and security. Is that a STS? Is that security token service? Yeah, it's temporary access. Security groups and WAF, network boundary protection. Okay, and KMS is data at rest encryption. CloudTrail gives you those audit logs, correct? Okay, yeah, all right, okay. So you're using ChatGPT to quiz you? Yeah. Usually at night I got my flashcards and I'll go through my flashcards and I'll turn on Gemini's interactive mode and I'll just talk to Gemini and have it like stuff I'm stuck with on the flashcards. I'll ask Gemini. I have my perplexity up in conversation mode. I'm gonna see if the audio will play in my browser on StreamYard. If so, I'm gonna do a Q&A with the AI right after I go through these slides. You was the first of your group to finish? Okay. Wait, are you already employed in the IT field or cloud? Yeah. I've been accidentally screwing y'all with additional projects all the time. Every time me and Theo go over architecture during the tech support streams, when we look at the AWS diagrams and schematics, he's like, "Oh, it's a good lab for the class." So I've been inadvertently giving y'all new homework. Okay, blueprint for serverless pipeline for real-time IoT, Internet of Things analytics. Let's go. IoT Core, Kinesis, Lambda, DynamoDB for hot data, S3 for cold, Redshift, and QuickSight. Makes sense. Okay, let me look at this decoupling one. Route 53 to CloudFront to S3 at the edge. Compute layers, ALB in front of the EC2 auto scaling group. Oh, and then the state separation at the bottom, RDS and DB. Okay, by offloading static assets to S3 and CloudFront, we save massive EC2 compute cycles. Moving session state and shopping carts to DynamoDB allows our EC2 instance to remain entirely stateless, enabling seamless auto scaling. Oh, so they're decoupling the database aspect from the compute layer. Okay. Yeah, you said not yet. I stay up overnight and hammer away. Like, yeah, I mean, it's a huge time commitment. Um, I don't think the barrier to entry is that big with regard to getting into the entry, but it's like you the risk and ROI risk to reward ratio and the ROI on time invested makes it well worth it. And he said I joke about you giving them ideas for homework, but on the real, it equates to more money. Facts. I mean, we are learning, and yeah, doing real world applications. Um, I don't know if you saw the last tech support. That's what Theo was saying that he makes the class so much far more difficult than the actual job you'll probably ever get hired to do. So you end up hitting the ground running when you actually do accept a new position, which is brilliant. Okay, active global multi-region deployment, uh, enterprise blueprint. Let's go. All right, global accelerator and Route 53 for latency-based routing. Tokyo region and a U.S. region, North Virginia. All right, we got load balancers on both sides, auto scaling group on both sides. Well, in both regions. S3 bucket, the original RDS, and a read replica. Nice. For sub 100 millisecond latency globally, active multi-region is required. Global Accelerator utilizes the AWS private back. Okay, private backbone if we're going to use Global Accelerator to bypass internet congestion, while cross-region replication ensures data consistency without manual intervention. Okay, so here's my check. Did I go past one? Yeah, I did. And this one's data recovery pathways and migration strategies. We got a lift and shift, re-platform and re-architect, disaster recovery tiers, backup and restore, pilot light. Yup, pilot light. I gotta remember that one. I gotta review this one. And multi-site active. Pilot light strategy. Okay, disaster recovery. three migration strategies, three disaster recovery strategies. Pilot light though is core infrastructure is duplicated via cloud formation, but compute is scaled to zero until disaster spikes. Balances RTO and cost. Lift and shift is the fastest execution. Least cost optimized. Okay. AWS Server Migration Service. SMS. SMS and DMS. Replatforming. Minor optimizations, AWS Database Migration Service, and a complete re-architecture. Maximum cloud native benefit. Highest initial effort, moving to serverless. That makes sense. All right, let's check our best practices checklist. Security, sure principal least privilege, reliability. Okay, these are all four of the domains. Reliability. Assume everything fails. Decoupling architecture components using SQS or Event Bridge. Utilize auto scaling groups. Performance. Rely on managed services. Offload static content to CloudFront to spare compute cycles. Cost optimization. Implement strict mandatory resource tagging for cost allocation. Nice. All right, that's good. Oh, except the overnight streams? Yeah, we turn on the channel at midnight. If we're not actively live streaming, we'll stream from the catalog, like old television, like reruns. I might do another stream tonight. I might do a random shit stream and go over some current topics. But I'll be having to gotta knock these study blocks out. All right, that looks good. Let's see if it'll let me use it. Yeah, see if it will let me use. Oh, so it knocked my audio out, huh? Let's see, remove. Let me try it again. I want to see if it'll share the audio from the browser. Let's do remove. Hmm. All right, we're in there. Let's see if it'll do it. Hello?
How there? How can I assist you today?
Awesome sauce. Let's see something. Yo, you
Got it. What specifically would you like to explore or check out?
hold on for 1 second. Yo, Tori, can you hear the AI in the can you hear the AI in in the browser?
I can't hear anyone else, but
Hold on
I'm
hold on for a second.
sure. Take your time. Let me know whenever you're ready.
Ah, so you can hear it. All right, we got a ball game. All right, let me pull up my notes. Let's this is perplexity in speech in conversation mode. Uh all right, good. Let's just go over some of my notes with the AI. Hey, can you review some of my notes with me? I'm studying for the AWS SAA cert.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to help. Are you focusing on any specific topics or sections of the AWS SAA exam?
I'm reviewing some of my notes right now, and I just went through a slideshow, but going to run through a couple random questions that stuff I'm stuck on. Can you explain a cron job to me?
Of course. A cron job is a scheduled task on Unix-based systems that runs automatically at specified times or intervals. You set it up by defining the schedule and the command to run.
Can you give me a use case for that?
Sure. A common use case is running a backup script every night at midnight to ensure that data is saved regularly without manual intervention.
And what AWS services would I couple with that? Can you explain the architecture to me?
Sure. You could use AWS Lambda to trigger the cron job, store backups in S3, and use CloudWatch for monitoring the schedule. That's a solid architecture.
Nice. So
Great.
typical rule of thumb in USCOV, what are the common use cases where a cron job would be useful or part of a consistent architecture, and what services?
A consistent architecture might pair cron jobs with AWS Lambda for execution, Amazon CloudWatch for scheduling, and S3 or RDS for storage. That ensures everything runs smoothly.
Okay, can you expand on that? What industries or use cases or something of like of the sort would that come and play with? Can you give me an actual real world application?
Sure. For example, in e-commerce, cron jobs can automate daily order reports or inventory updates. In healthcare, they can run regular data backups or compliance checks. It's all about automating routine tasks efficiently.
That's perfect. That was actually a really good answer.
I'm glad that helped. If you need more details or have other questions, just let me know.
Yes, I do. Give me a second. I'm reviewing my notes real quick. Um,
Take your time. Let
can
me know.
give me let me
Sure.
see something.
Take your time, and when you're ready, feel free to share more details or questions. I'm here to help.
Okay.
No problem. Just let me know when you're ready, and we can go through it step by step.
Can you walk me through the steps for resolving EC2 network isolation and connectivity failures?
Absolutely. First, check the security groups and network ACLs to ensure they allow traffic, then verify the route tables and the subnet's configuration. Finally, check the instance's status and any VPC endpoints if you're using them.
Okay. Hold on for a second. Hey Tori,
Sure, take your time. I'm here when you're ready.
can you hear the AI talking and over the stream? Hey Tori,
Take your time. I'm here when you're ready.
can you hear the AI talking and over the stream? All right, let me pull up some more notes real quick since I got old boy here. All right, drop this. Where's my other slides? Not bad. Let me shrink this down. A defense in-depth approach to AWS workloads. Scenario. All right, I'm back. Um,
Welcome back. Let me know where you'd like to pick up or if you'd like to go over something specific.
well, let's talk about AWS security domain for the SAA exam.
Got it. The AWS security domain covers topics like identity and access management, encryption, and monitoring. It's all about securing your cloud resources.
Okay, walk me through some rule of thumb items that I want to keep in mind for the exam.
Sure, focus on the principle of least privilege. Make sure to understand AWS IAM roles, policies, and encryption options, like KMS. That's a solid foundation.
Okay, walk me through the least privilege policies.
Of course, the least privilege principle means you only give users or services the permissions they absolutely need. Start by defining the minimal access, then adjust as necessary.
Okay, IAM roles. Uh, what do they grant and what can you apply them to? Other individuals, groups, or services? Give me the delineation.
Great question. IAM roles grant specific permissions, and they're typically applied to AWS services, not directly to users or groups. Users assume roles to get temporary access.
Give me a full breakdown on the IAM architecture and application.
Sure, IAM architecture involves users, groups, roles, and policies. Users can be assigned to groups or granted roles by AWS services or users for temporary access. Policies define what actions are allowed.
So, which are assigned to individuals and which are assigned to services?
Users and groups are assigned to individuals, while roles are often assigned to AWS services. Policies can be attached to all of them to define permissions.
Aren't there additional IAM management services like AWS organizations and the like?
Yes, exactly. AWS organizations helps manage multiple accounts, and AWS Control Tower sets up governance. Both integrate with IAM for centralized management.
Give me a list of other services similar to AWS organizations that help with identity access management for multiple accounts or large organizations.
Here's a list of services similar to AWS organizations for managing identity and access across multiple accounts. 1. Microsoft Entra ID, formerly Azure Active Directory, for centralized identity management. 2. Azure Management Groups for higher.
No, I want the AWS services. I don't care about a multi-cloud solution.
Sure. For AWS, key services similar to AWS organizations include AWS Identity Center, formerly AWS SSO, for centralized access management, AWS Control Tower for automated governance, and AWS Service Catalog for managing approved resources.
Give me a brief description of all of those services, and then give me real-world use cases for each.
Sure. AWS Identity Center helps centralize access across multiple accounts. AWS Control Tower automates multi-account setup with governance. AWS Service Catalog allows you to create and manage approved product portfolios. Real-world use, Identity Center is great for managing user access across teams. Control Tower suits setup of environments like production and development. Service Catalog is useful for enforcing approved infrastructure templates.
Um,
Take your time. Once
no,
you're
no, go over that again for me and give it to me in more detail.
Absolutely. Let's break it down. 1. AWS Identity Center. This centralizes user access for multiple AWS accounts, so users sign in once and get access to all necessary resources. 2. AWS Control Tower. This automates the setup of a secure multi-account environment, enforcing governance rules with pre-configured blueprints. 3. AWS Service Catalog. This lets organizations create and manage catalogs of approved services and products, ensuring teams use consistent resources. For example, Identity Center is great for managing access for employees across various teams. Control Tower can help set up accounts for dev, test, and production environments. Service Catalog is useful if you want to standardize infrastructure deployments across teams.
All right, excellent. Let's go over a couple more things.
Sure, let me know.
Um, give me a explain to me AWS directory service. Give me some real world examples, use cases, and give me an in-depth definition.
Sure. AWS Directory Service provides managed Microsoft Active Directory, or simple AD, for integrating with AWS resources. Real-world use cases include extending on-premises Active Directory to the cloud, enabling single sign-on, or managing user access to AWS services. It's often used in hybrid environments or where centralized user management is needed.
Can you go over that again for me and
Of
explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old?
Sure. Think of AWS Directory Service like a big digital phone book that helps you and your teams log in once and get access to all the right toys, like your games or apps, without having to remember lots of different passwords. That way, everything's easier to manage.
All right. Explain AWS Resource Access Manager to me and explain it to me like I'm a solutions architect, and then explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old.
Got it. As a solutions architect, AWS Resource Access Manager lets you securely share AWS resources across accounts. It allows centralized governance and control. For example, you might share a VPC or a subnet with other accounts in your organization. Now, for a 5-year-old, it's like sharing your toys with your friends, so everyone can play with them, even if they're in different houses.
Give me some use cases for that service.
Sure. Some use cases for AWS Resource Access Manager include sharing a VPC across multiple accounts, sharing AWS Transit Gateway connections, or sharing ALBs, application load balancers, with other accounts. This helps centralize resources and helps reduce duplication.
All right, cool. Now explain AWS organizations to me. I know it's policy-based management for multiple AWS accounts, but explain it to me once again like I'm a solutions architect, and then explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old.
Sure. As a solutions architect, AWS Organizations is a service that helps you centrally manage and govern multiple AWS accounts. You can apply service control policies, automate account creation, and organize accounts into organizational units. Now, like your 5, it's like having a big toy box with smaller boxes inside. You can put different toys in each box, set rules on who can open which box, and keep everything organized.
All right, excellent. Um, Talk to me in general about the identity access management protocols for AWS Cloud. Key services, rules of thumb, architecture, and the logic flow.
Sure. In AWS, identity and access management revolves around services like IAM for users and roles, AWS Organizations for account management, and services like KMS for key management. The logic typically flows by defining users or roles, assigning policies that grant permissions, and then auditing access. It's all about secure, scalable access control.
Okay.
If you'd like to dive deeper into any specific part, let me know. We can break it down step by step.
Go ahead, break it down for me step by step.
Absolutely. Step 1, you define users or roles in AWS Identity and Access Management. Step 2, you attach policies that specify what actions they can take. Step 3, you manage access through roles or groups. That's the basic flow.
Okay, let's talk about this AWS security architecture. Uh, let let's go over database security.
Great. In AWS, database security uses features like encryption at rest with KMS, network isolation with VPC, and fine-grained access control through IAM roles. That way, you can manage who can access what and how.
Give me a use case for those features.
Sure. For example, an organization might use encryption at rest to protect customer data in a database and use VPC to ensure only internal services can connect. That's one common use case.
All right, next item is identity access management with regard to AWS security architecture.
Got it. Identity access management in AWS involves defining who can access what, using roles, policies, and permissions, all tied to your overall security posture. This helps ensure only the right people and services have access.
All right, what about the data protection and encryption aspect?
In AWS, data protection uses encryption at rest with services like KMS and encryption in transit using TLS. Access controls help ensure only authorized users or services can decrypt and access the data.
What's TLS?
TLS stands for Transport Layer Security. It's a protocol that encrypts data as it travels over the network, keeping it secure from eavesdropping.
Okay. Next feature is network and edge security in AWS security architecture.
Network and edge security in AWS involves using services like Virtual Private Cloud, VPC, security groups, network ACLs, and AWS Shield for DDoS protection, ensuring secure access and traffic flow.
Can you repeat that again?
Sure. Network and edge security in AWS include using Virtual Private Cloud, security groups, network access control lists, and AWS Shield for DDoS protection to manage secure access and traffic.
Go into depth of regarding DDoS protection and AWS Shield, and how does that differ from AWS Guard Duty?
AWS Shield focuses on DDoS protection, automatically detecting and mitigating attacks. AWS Guard Duty, on the other hand, continuously monitors for malicious activity, such as unusual API calls or compromised instances. Both complement each other for layered security.
What's the rule of thumb when selecting either of those services, Shield versus Guard Duty? What's the most suitable use case for both, and how do you make the decision?
Good question. AWS Shield is ideal for protecting against DDoS attacks, while Guard Duty focuses on detecting unusual behavior or threats inside your environment. Use Shield for external attack prevention and Guard Duty for internal threat detection.
So Guard Duty is internal inside the VPC, and Shield is outside the VPC.
Exactly. Guard Duty monitors for threats inside your VPC, while Shield protects against attacks coming from outside, like DDoS attacks. This makes them
In the architecture, where would the AWS Shield service be placed outside of the VPC? In front of, or in back, or behind the application load balancer or network load balancer?
Yes, exactly. AWS Shield is typically placed in front of your application load balancer or network load balancer, protecting traffic before it reaches your infrastructure.
Would you use AWS Shield in conjunction with AWS WAF, and both of them be placed in front of the application load balancer?
Yes, exactly. AWS Shield and AWS WAF are often used together, and both can be placed in front of the application load balancer to protect against DDoS attacks and web threats.
Explain to me how a DDoS attack, I guess, would attack my application, and how Shield would prevent that in conjunction with the AWS WAF if they're both placed in front of the application load balancer. How do they prevent them from getting into my from the attack affecting my resources inside the VPC?
Great question. AWS Shield helps by absorbing and mitigating large-scale DDoS attacks at the network edge, blocking malicious traffic before it reaches your load balancer. AWS WAF, on the other hand, filters out specific application layer threats, like SQL injection or cross-site scripting, scrutinizing the traffic that gets through. Together, they protect both at the network and application levels.
Okay, SQL injection and the side scripting, that's handled by WAF, or is that handled by Shield?
That's handled by AWS WAF, which focuses on application layer protection, while AWS Shield focuses on network layer attacks.
Application level, the application layer. What layer is that? Is that layer 4, layer 7?
The application layer refers to layer 7 of the OSI
Right.
model.
Thank you. Um, what about Inspector? AWS Inspector, can that be put anywhere on the architecture in conjunction with Shield, WAF, or Guard Duty?
AWS Inspector is more focused on assessing vulnerabilities inside your environment, like on EC2 instances. It typically runs inside your architecture, analyzing your resources, whereas Shield and WAF protect traffic coming into your system. They complement each other by addressing different layers of security.
Okay, so Shield and WAF are edge layer security. Once we get inside the VPC, we'll be using Guard Duty and Inspector as further in on the actual EC2 instances, correct?
Exactly. Shield and WAF handle protection at the edge, while Guard Duty and Inspector focus on monitoring and assessing threats inside the VPC and on the instances themselves. That way, you're covered from external to internal threats.
All right, excellent. So then the last item in terms of AWS security architecture and my rules of thumb here are going to be monitoring and compliance.
Exactly. Monitoring and compliance tools like AWS CloudTrail, Config, and Security Hub help ensure all actions are logged, tracked, and meet your security policies. That way, you maintain visibility and compliance.
Well, with regard to monitoring and compliance, give me five of the most commonly used in modern AWS architecture across most use cases.
Sure. 5 commonly used tools are AWS CloudTrail for logging, Amazon CloudWatch for monitoring, AWS Config for resource compliance, AWS Security Hub for centralized security checks, and AWS Guard Duty for threat detection.
Okay, give me detailed explanations of each and use cases for each.
Sure. Let's break them down. 1. CloudTrail. It records API calls for auditing and compliance, useful for tracking changes in your environment. 2. CloudWatch. It monitors logs, metrics, and alarms, great for tracking performance and setting alerts. 3. Config. It checks resource configurations against policies, ensuring compliance over time. 4. Security Hub. It aggregates security findings from multiple AWS services, providing a centralized view of your security posture. 5. Guard Duty. It detects potential threats by analyzing network traffic and logs, ideal for spotting anomalies. Each tool fits a specific use case in maintaining security and compliance.
Can you go over config again for me?
Of course, AWS Config is a service that continuously monitors and records your AWS resource configurations, checking them against desired policies to ensure compliance, helping you spot misconfigurations quickly. It's especially useful for auditing and compliance checks.
So you would run config after the infrastructure is already built?
Exactly. AWS Config is typically used after the infrastructure is deployed to continuously monitor and assess resource configurations over time. That way, you can ensure everything remains compliant.
So if I spun up infrastructure using Terraform and the infrastructure is up and running, I could then and deploy config to check the infrastructure and monitor it in real time, then and have config make any adjustments to the infrastructure.
Exactly. AWS Config can continuously monitor and alert you to deviations. However, automatic adjustments would require additional automation tools, like Lambda functions or other remediation scripts.
Okay. So all right, excellent.
I'm glad that helped. If you need more details or examples, feel free to ask.
All right. I'm glad I got the audio to work in the browser. Let me go through a couple more things with Perplexity, and wow, we're already at the hour mark. Let me see something. Threat detection, that's WAF, already did that. VPC infrastructure. Okay, S3 encryption options. I already know that. I should have pulled out my flashcards. Actually, let me go with these. No, the AI assisted study. What I'm doing, I have my notebook here with my all of my notes, and I'm actually thumbing through my notes in real time. And then whatever I'm looking at and I'm stuck on, I'm just asking the AI questions in real time. It's what do you call it? It's like interactive learning. Um, AI really does change the game with studying. Like once you've actually already done the work, if you don't got a study partner or something, it really helps. All right, let's go. Actually, let's hit a couple more things real quick. Uh, okay, I'm back.
Great. Welcome back. How can I assist you further with your AWS security architecture?
All right, let's review Elasticache, Redis versus Memcache.
Sure. Elasticache Redis offers advanced features like persistence, replication, and clustering, while memcached is simpler, focusing on fast, in-memory caching without persistence. The choice depends on your use case. Redis for more complex caching needs, and memcached for simpler, high-speed caching.
Give me a use case for both and a rule of thumb for selecting, and the give me the logic for selecting each of the services in terms of architecture.
For sure, use Redis when you need advanced features like persistence, PubSub, or clustering, great for session storage or leaderboards.
Is that in conjunction? Would that be used in conjunction with SQS?
Yes, you can use Elasticache Redis with SQS in certain architectures. For example, Redis can handle real-time caching and session management, while SQS manages message queues and decouples components. It depends on your specific workload.
And give me a use case for the other.
Sure, memcached is great for simple caching scenarios, like storing session data or frequently accessed database query results where you need fast, in-memory lookups. It's ideal when you don't need persistence or complex data structures.
Um, well, give me in terms of the cost domain, what is my cost constraints when selecting each of these services as per use case? Just give me a logic train.
Sure, generally, memcached is often more cost-effective for simpler caching needs since it's lightweight. Redis can be more expensive because of its advanced features like persistence and replication. The rule of thumb, choose memcached for cost-sensitive projects with simpler caching, and Redis when you need richer features.
All right, well then give me a market viable use case for Memcache and explain to me where Memcache will be placed in my architectural diagram in front of or in conjunction with what services.
A market-viable use case for memcached is caching session data for web applications, placed in front of your application servers. It works alongside services like EC2 or container environments, and often integrates with load balancers like ALB or NLB.
Okay, well, explain to me the logic flow with that. Like, give me the ingress, egress. Where would the data or the request be coming from a native user, etc. Walk me through it.
Sure, the user's request comes in, it hits a load balancer, then goes to the application servers. The application checks memcached first for cache data. If it's not there, the request moves to the backend database, and the data is returned and cached for next time. That's the basic logic flow.
All right, excellent. All right, give this to me in context of standard or a classic system design modeling.
Sure. In a standard system design, you'd place memcached between the load balancer and the application servers. It handles read-heavy workloads by storing frequently accessed data, reducing load on your database. This fits the classic layering approach.
Okay, as I'm preparing for my exam in the next couple weeks, and I go through the use cases, give me some system design frameworks that I should always reference when answering these use cases so I can know how to adequately select services and place and follow logic trains with these services. I mean, with these services.
Got it. Some key frameworks to reference are the CAP theorem for consistency, availability, and partition tolerance, the 12-factor app principles, and the AWS well-architected framework. These help guide service selection and placement.
All right, walk me through these.
Sure. The CAP theorem says you can only guarantee 2 out of 3, consistency, availability, or partition tolerance. The 12-factor app helps design cloud-native apps. The AWS well-architected framework focuses on operational excellence, security, reliability, performance efficiency, and cost optimization. That's the core logic.
All right, but a further question with regard to system design. There's a basic system design framework in terms of front end, back end, database layer, application layer, etc.
Exactly. A basic system design framework usually includes the front-end, back-end, database, and application layers, along with components like caching, load balancing, and security. This helps you structure where each service fits.
And okay, so that would be a reasonable framework to start when reviewing the use cases to visualize where services should be or to solve the requirements or i.e. problems of the use case?
Exactly. That framework helps you break down the use case requirements and place each service where it solves the specific problem in the architecture. That way, you get a clear visual and logical flow.
Okay, reframe that last section, that the last question and answer back and forth between us regarding the system design.
Sure. We discussed how using a basic system design framework, including layers like front end, back end, database, and caching, helps place services where they solve specific use case problems. That gives you a logical flow.
All right, excellent. All right, you've been extremely helpful. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm glad I could help. If you need any more details, just let me know.
All right, perfect. All right, that's my 1 hour studying in and done. All right, all right, this is about the. All right, I finally got Perplexity to work in the StreamYard browser so I can hear the audio. So that is perfect. All right, Tori, man. Thanks for hanging out with me. This is in the member section. It'll be back there. Yes, in the member section. I'm leaving it up. Um, I'll be streaming and studying like this all the way up to the exam. I've I just think, at least for some of Theo's students or people who are thinking about taking a class, I just think it's helpful for them to see um, someone in real time that's in Theo's class actually studying and getting after it and grinding. You know, stuff ends up being seeming easier once you see somebody else doing it. All right. I'll be back tomorrow. Yo, thanks for hanging out with me, Tori.
Press for greatness, every step intentional. Dress for my future cause my goals non-negotiable. Mind sharp daily and my habits unconditional. Study hard, live clean, results get exponential. Press shirt crisp like a contract sign. Routine on lock, discipline outline. Early morning studying, keeping me aligned. Daily improvements engineered in my mind. While others chase trends just to look profound, I chase structure that builds life from the ground. Building my skills so the future stays sound. Success is a language, I'm fluent in the sound.
Tech in my palms, tools in my stance. Two skill sets ready for any advance. I build opportunity now, waiting for chance. Moving with purpose in every expense. Land on my checklist, assets on deck. Business foundation with long-term effect. Clean outfit on, that's natural respect. Dress like a man that the future will select.
Travel where the energy nurtures my growth. Living where I'm welcomed and respected by both. Fit so neat, it's a personal oath. To honor my dream with each button and cloth. Never look tough just to feel approved. I stayed myself, never once removed. Different by choice and proudly improve. I walk pressed for greatness, completely a move. greatness, every step intentional. Dress for my future cause my goals non-negotiable. Mind sharp daily and my habits unconditional. Study hard, live clean, results get exponential. Press shirt crisp like a contract sign. Routine on lock, discipline outline. Early morning studying, keeping me aligned. Daily improvements engineered in my mind. While others chase trends just to look profound, I chase structure that builds life from the ground. Building my skills so the future stays sound. Success is a language, I'm fluent in the sound.
Checking my palms, tools in my stance. 2 skill sets ready for any advance. I build opportunity now, waiting for chance. Moving with purpose in every expense. Land on my checklist, assets on deck. Business foundation with long-term effect. Clean outfit on, that's natural respect. Dress like a man that the future will select.
Travel where the energy nurtures my growth. Living where I'm welcomed and respected by both. Fit so neat, it's a personal oath. To honor my dream with each button and cloth. Never look tough just to feel approved. I stayed myself, never once removed. Different by choice and proudly improve. I walk pressed for greatness, completely a move.